does it do that?
You got it.
Hey, you got it. There we go.
I'm going to start answering people at work with that. Hey, can you do this for me? You got it. And I'm going to point at him, and then I'll do a smile. You got it.
Just get the soundbite of Karth and just play it from your phone. Every time someone says that. Sometimes I want a soundboard in just my regular daily life because sometimes I quote things, no one gets it. I would rather just play the thing. I need to just carry one around with me at all times.
Goddamn noobs, man.
You can make a soundboard on your phone, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should collect some clips. I thought about making us a soundboard, but then I thought it would be really annoying because we're already really annoying.
Yeah, I agree.
So I grabbed a bunch of clips, but I haven't not done anything with them yet.
We should just do a Kerner soundboard.
I don't know why, but I went back and listened to that episode where he forgot the alphabet and he was hammered. It's really funny.
It's funny.
Okay. Are you prepared?
Yeah.
I know you. Which one are you prepared? Nice. Oh, wait. I can do this with Liquid Death. That was pretty good.
Oh, pretty good.
All right, here we go for real.
Okay, kids, let's go.
Let's go.
There has been an awakening.
Let's go.
Have you felt it?
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool.
You guys are so funny.
That's a cool shirt.
Hello. Holy shit. Thank C3 Penis Face and R2
Holy
Dickhead.
fuck.
Hello there.
What did you say to me?
That's
Giant
I would say.
May the force be with us. Fucking A.
Bonesaw is ready.
Welcome back to Rogue Squadron, the one and only podcast officially sponsored by Liquid Death Mountain Water, sparkling mountain water. Murder your thirst.
Murder your thirst.
Thank you.
Murder your thirst.
Official sponsored water of the Sith. Murder your thirst while you're murdering younglings.
Yeah.
It's the only one
Sith,
worthwhile.
A Sith salutations to all. Good day, Galaxy.
Welcome back. I like your John Lennon glasses. so
I was
far.
feeling it. So just
Those
to
are
give you
nice.
guys some insight, I read all the way through the Kylo Ren comic.
Nice.
Well, comics, whatever issues. There's only 4 of them.
Right.
But I have in my background, I have Snoke with a goddamn fedora, and I was trying to match the vibe.
He had some great outfits in the comic, didn't he?
Let me explain something to you guys.
I'm ready.
For how ridiculous the comics can get, the Kylo Ren did not get ridiculous at all. I mean, Snoke was in it wearing hats and shit, but it wasn't that weird. Now the Vader comic. This is one bone I have to pick. A newer Vader comic I got halfway through, I started tearing up out of hatred. Let me explain something.
For
to you.
how bad it was, or you were
Yes.
you were
Yes.
channeling Anakin.
No, it was anything with Vader, you're always like you're going balls deep.
Right.
You full on in. You're like, I don't even care if it's bad, it's gonna be good because it's Vader. Let me explain the setting here. Vader teams up with Sabe.
Thank you. I was going to ask if this is the one where he partners up with one of the handmaidens.
Yes, he partners up with Sabe, Padme's handmaiden, in an attempt to, what Vader's trying to find out is who hid Luke from him. So this is post episode 5. He tells Luke, hey, I'm your father, and Vader gets pissed and says, you know what? Who hid Luke from me? So he goes on a hunt, and he comes across Sabe, who's, 15 years older as well, and he looks at her like Padme, because she was supposed to look like her. Duh.
Right.
But she teams up with him, and they're fighting fucking underground Godzillas on Naboo and shit.
Together.
It's...
Like Hansel and Gretel.
Damn it. It really pissed me off. I was going through it, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And they, of course, had to go planet by planet. So he started on Tatooine, and then he went, he just hit all the big ones.
Yeah.
Of the obvious big ones. He went to Coruscant, went to her apartment on Coruscant, went to Naboo. God, it was bad.
What was it like for
bad.
him going back to Tatooine? Was it worthwhile at all?
I don't even really remember. I was already pissed. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It starts off like, it's like, okay, like, I get it. Maybe you want to find out but like, long story short, don't you know your master is a dickhead?
Yeah. Like, how do you not just?
That's
figure
what
that
I
out?
was like. Come on.
Who fucked me over and hid my child from me? Well, probably Palpatine, because he's done that 40 other times.
Yeah. Yeah, I took some screenshots of that one too. Oh my god. Do you remember the daddy long legs that sits on the head on Mustafar? That tells the future?
I didn't actually read this. I got a whiff of the storyline and that Vader partnered up with a handmaiden, and I put it out of my mind. I didn't want to even see it. No, whatever Daddy Longlegs, I don't know what you're talking about.
I gotta find the
If I Google Daddy Longlegs, will I find anything worthwhile?
No, he's got a ridiculous name. It's unforgivable. It's gonna. Here it is.
I can pull it up.
Google
What's his name?
this thing. The Eye of Webbish with 2 B's.
Oh.
The Eye of Webbish Bog. 2 B's, 2 G's.
Oh, was this in the concept art for Rise of Skywalker? I feel like I have seen this. Yeah, I think I have seen this somewhere.
Vader has to prove himself to this in the end of that. First of all, I'm so happy this doesn't exist in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that in like a realistic art looks a little better. But it's that picture just to the right of it on your Google page. That
Well, and then
was
you
the one-
realize that it's sitting on top of like a giant's head.
A pig head. Yeah.
Man, what do they
Dude,
what do they do sometimes?
This is like some weird Sith Charlotte's Web story that Vader has to prove himself to the fucking spinning web bitch.
Dude, what goes on in the writers' rooms?
My God.
How many mushrooms have they taken when they drew this?
You know what this really truly feels like? Is something weird that they pulled out of Harry Potter.
I was gonna say Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
I think
But,
it fits. It fits in the Forbidden Forest in Harry Potter.
Well, only because it looks like Aragog is on top of Hagrid's head.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're like. I got a great idea.
That's what Hagrid looks like if he was bald and with no beard, just shaved naked with a spider on top of him. Yeah, that's weird.
I don't even
is
know what
weird.
to. I don't even know what to like tell you guys not to read because it's just another Vader comic. It's called Darth Vader.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, and some things don't stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was supposed to have something to do with Kylo in 9 when he was on Mustafar at the beginning. He was supposed to encounter this thing. I think that's where it came from. So they scrapped it from 9, so they must have reused it for the comic.
No joke. Why the fuck would they even consider that? Why wouldn't they just have Kylo go to Vader's castle?
That I don't understand. Like, you don't have to really rewrite the book on, a Sith going to Mustafar. You know what's on Mustafar. Just let him go into the goddamn castle.
There were some okay flashbacks, like some panels you're like, oh, man. So Vader also gets stranded on Mustafar by the Emperor to reprove himself. Mm-hmm. He teams up with Sabe. Sabe double crosses Vader and God, what's the Naboo security guard that?
Oh, Panaka? Or
No, the other one. Panaka's gone after
Typho.
Sabe and Typho end up trapping Vader on Naboo. They were playing along the whole time. And Vader kills them all. Actually, there's a panel where he's force choking 5 handmaidens at the same time while he's flashbacking while he choked Padme. Because he's choking 5 women that look like Padme.
Wow, that's deep.
There's small snippets in there. I'm like, fuck, look at that. And then he goes and talks to a spider for a half hour. I'm like, okay. But yeah,
Well, sometimes you really gotta get out there in order to come up with
back.
some things, you know.
No, I
But
don't.
when you go that far and you have a spider that lives on top of a giant pig that lives in the bog, you found what you needed. You just forget that ever existed. You don't have to like put that in a concept art book to impress us. We don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And don't reuse it for a comic because no one wants that.
Yeah. Well, so the story starts off. He's looking for the person who hid Luke. He teams up with Sabe. She double crosses him. Her and the other handmaidens and Typho, thank you, try to kill Vader. He obviously escapes. It's Vader. He gets in front of the Emperor. The Emperor says, "You're a fucking douchebag anymore. Why would you double?" He was supposed to meet up with the Emperor initially, so Vader went off on this tangent and teamed up with Sabe. Emperor says, "You need to reprove yourself." So the Emperor crushes Vader's limbs again, drops him back off on Mustafar, leaves him on the lava bed, and Vader's got to reprove himself. It's a ridiculous story.
That's so stupid.
It is. And he crawls his ass one-handed with the one mechanical arm that he had when he was left for dead there.
Right.
Crawls up, he defeats a bounty hunter that the Emperor hired to kill Vader. It's one of the most, and at the end he ends up killing the bounty hunter and talking to the spider and reproving himself. And I'm like, dude, you lost me a long time ago when you were
What the hell?
talking to Sabe and not murdering everything.
That's ridiculous.
He also killed, I'm no joke, he killed the underwater Godzilla on Naboo with his
the one
lightsaber.
that's where there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah, he killed the bigger fish.
What's that thing called again? I can't remember. Darth Vader, Naboo, monster fish.
Yeah,
thing?
it's a type of monster. Like, I think the name.
Yeah, this looks. I don't even want to ever read this comic. I'm just looking at a panel where they're in that same Unagunga pod,
Yep.
and it like tries to eat it, and I see Handmaiden and Typho's in there. She's like,
I know. I was pissed too.
why does he want to? Like, she's wearing Padme's hair and outfit. Like, she looks exactly like Padme.
I mean,
Why-
shit, that's all they gave her. She was all the queen's wardrobes. There
I
was
know, but
8 of them made.
But once the queen, she's no longer the queen. Like, aren't they handmaidens for a different ruler now? Or don't
No.
they just get other
Nope.
jobs? They're just handmaidens.
They don't look
forever?
like any other ruler. They look like Padme. Now she's dead.
I also just think it's so weird that Vader, regardless of how desperate he is to find anything, that he would want to be buddy with someone that looks just like his dead wife for like a week.
Yeah. Well, I'm
feel
telling
like-
you that
I feel like
panel-
he would never want to do that. He would just find a different way of going about it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that panel that he was choking the 5 handmaidens, I was like, ooh, you're doing it again.
Was it worth it just for that one panel though?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But there was another small highlight. So, Sabe, the other handmaidens, and Typho double-crossed Vader, tricked him. And well, obviously because of Padme's death, they were trying to get back revenge for Padme. And they assumed Darth Vader killed Padme. But the other side of it was they were doing it also because they thought he killed Anakin Skywalker. So there is sprinkles of like, oh, okay. And they were literally saying, you killed Anakin and Padme on Mustafar. I know it was you. And from a certain point of view,
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
yeah, there was sprinkles of that stuff in there, man. I liked it.
Some of this art is cool. I'm looking at. I just went to look up the new Darth Vader run just to see some of the covers, and some of the cover art's really cool. This one with Palpatine in the background, cackling, and Vader
Yeah.
without his mask on, just seeing his powdered donut head. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's. So I haven't read this. Just from what you're saying, it's making me not want to read it. Not to say that I won't ever. And I don't want to shit on people that are creatives and writing this kind of stuff, but I feel like the Darth Vader comic runs were held in such high regard when Charles Soule was writing all of them. I think there was like 3 in a row that were like, people were like, this is like some of the best Star Wars comics we've ever seen. And I think you enjoyed one of the previous runs.
It's 3. I've read 3 full ones, and
And
2 of them have been really, really good.
And I don't think Charles Soule is doing this most recent one, so that could be it. That could be it. Bummer. Boghead spiders and pigs in the swamp and everything else. So, yeah. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I truly had to dish out some
hatred.
actual hatred towards some stuff, because it's like I said, the highs were not worth the lows in that one. It was just weird. And I actually am going to toss out a couple. So I redid my ranking
Of movies?
Ooh. And you're going to be pissed about one and happy about another.
That means you're probably shitting on Last Jedi and loving Solo?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And unfortunately, Solo jumped up a couple. Actually, it's up there.
Okay. I dig that.
Last Jedi fell hard.
Hard. Did you watch it recently?
Yes.
Hard.
Yeah, you know what? It's got its obvious issues, but they bothered me even more. And I rewatched the Lightspeed scene, and I know recently I said that's one of the most epic scenes, and it still is, but it's so short, and then it's just surrounded by shit.
Packed in. It's a shit sandwich.
It's a shit sandwich. And then
Well, it's the opposite of a shit sandwich, though.
see,
It's an inverted shit sandwich. It's shit is the bread of the sandwich.
yeah, exactly. It's an open-faced shit sandwich. One of the quotes felt so disingenuine, like I did not believe it at all. Whether it was Daisy Ridley's acting, whoever wrote the fucking quote, or just the scene. When she's walking up and it's before the you feel it, and he smacks her thing with the leaf. She walks out to that open thing, the open area, and he says basically sit down, and she stops and says, Master Skywalker, you have to bring back the Jedi because Kylo Ren is strong in the dark side of the Force.
Yeah. She's supposed to sound like a moron when she says that.
But it's, first of all, no one says that. No one would say that exact sentence. That is a forced, unrealistic Master Sky. And it didn't, I don't know if it was her acting or whoever told her to say it like that. It was so just like, it felt like Daisy Ridley had a very bad day, and she just wanted to get through the scene. So she's just like, Master Skywalker, you have to bring back the Jedi, blah, 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 dark side of the Force.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think it's supposed to sound like that.
But I don't like how it sounds, so
But
I
know
care.
you're supposed to be, it's supposed to sound like she's there for the wrong reasons, and she needs to go through some realization before she can start training.
But
it's supposed to make her sound like an adolescent.
But the realistic thing is people are dying, including Leia. Like, people are being murdered. To even come across like this, she should be more frustrated and quick and be like, Master Skywalker, you need to stop fucking around. People are along those lines, instead of just being annoyed, like, Master Skywalker, I don't know what I'm talking about, blah 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 blah. I'm just like, dude, don't ever say that again. Because later he drops some serious knowledge, and I actually, my appreciation for Luke builds because he's talking about Palpatine and all this shit. So it's like, I don't know. I just
I agree with
that.
you on the line. It's been a while since I've seen it, but from what I recall, it's supposed to sound that stupid because she doesn't know what she's actually asking for yet. She thinks she needs to, get strong and then go back and fight Kylo and win the day. That's not what actually needs to happen.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know. It fell hard. I'm gonna I'm gonna look at this here. I'm gonna let you guess my bottom 4.
Okay.
My bottom 4 movies.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you guess them. One of them's pretty obvious.
2, 8, 9.
Yes, that's in a row.
And like, so I mean 2 is the very bottom.
Yep.
8, 9, and 4.
Oh, close. You were off by 1. 6. I put 6
Okay.
below 4.
I almost put 6. Yep.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
that's very good.
I think 4 has climbed just a smidgen. I get it. And then 6.
If anyone
has
ever
dropped.
does Star Wars trivia for guessing your friends' rankings, I'll submit my name for that. I could win some prizes.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I should just at least mention Solo is now 4th. So I've got episode 3 Rogue, 5 Solo,
Okay.
7. Yeah.
Interesting. 3 Rogue, 5, and Solo. I like that Rogue and Solo are so high in the ranks.
They did.
It makes me happy.
They did great with those movies. I mean, goofy stuff aside. See, Solo's the perfect thing that they can throw something extremely goofy in there and then just move past it and it's fine. I'm forgetting her name. The crime boss in Solo at the very beginning. Lady
Ooh,
Proxima.
Yes, thank you.
Lady Proxima is one of the most ridiculous things. Why is a underwater slug running
on a rock.
Yeah. It is one, but it happens and then they leave and you're like, okay, I have already forgotten about that. They were all like poor people. Like, it's fine. It's a crime-ridden area. I get it.
Yep.
But we can move on. So
It's a sewer. Yeah.
it wasn't like a character building interaction. Whereas Vader going up against the Daddy Longlegs is supposed to be a character building interaction, and that pisses me off.
Right.
Rather than Lady Proxima's like, this is the setting. Now let's leave this. And you're like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. A little ridiculous, but it's okay. We're okay. Everything's
Got
good
it.
here.
So you know too much about Vader that it makes you angry. Whereas if it was the beginning of Vader's story and he was talking to a spider sitting on top of an egg or whatever.
No, I guess the issue is it does nothing for me. First of all, he shouldn't have been there to begin with. Why would Palpy drop him off again to reprove himself?
Yes.
You're like,
it's very contrived.
yes.
But is it supposed to be like some ancient, all-knowing dark side force on Mustafar? Is that the whole point?
I don't know.
Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Like,
Is the spider
the
controlling
spider's been around for so many years. It's like, oh yeah, Sith for generations have come to seek my knowledge or whatever.
Yeah, something.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you have Solo up there now.
the random side thing, just to finalize the Vader stuff, he ends up with the holocron to Exegol. That's the whole reason for that quick Vader series. That's how they tied it all in. They started with Vader and Palpy, and he finds out that Exegol exists, and he gets the holocron from the spider.
Is it called a Wayfinder? Or is it called a holocron?
They call it the Wayfinder.
Yeah. Why did he do that?
I don't know, man. And I just...
Also, you know what I just thought of that I hate?
Here we go.
Rise of Skywalker. I could be remembering this wrong, but do they not plug the holocron into like the nav system in the X-wing?
Yep.
Like I remember just like a little guitar cable getting plugged into the holocron.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, it's
what?
the amplifier cable. And unfortunately, just to make it make sense, Vader does the same thing, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, that's annoying. It's supposed to like have like a life force kind of.
That's exactly it. You're strong enough, you're willed enough, and you're the right person. You have access to this knowledge. But instead, they're just plugging USB cables into the fucking thing, and they're like,
Right.
download.
Like it's
Click
a
and
goddamn
download.
adapter. Do you
I'm
ever-
dragging the map to my Google Drive, and it won't download.
Oh, you got two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Check your phone for the passcode.
Check your phone, Vader. Check your chest plate for the 6-digit confirmation code.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen animations where you you have to unlock the holocron through like some trial or some inner peace or some knowledge, and then it kind of like unlocks. It's like a Rubik's cube. It goes in reverse and like unlocks itself, and then you're presented with something. It's not like a device, you know?
Right. No, that's how because I think Bane does the same thing with Revan's holocron.
Yeah,
He like
it,
goes
opens.
into this ancient temple and no one's it calls to him, and he has to like sit there and figure it out. It's like a mental puzzle he has to go through, and then he gets
Right.
access. And in my mind, he sees a little hologram of Revan. Something appears to him, and then you
Yeah.
can. It's an interaction where you can like talk to Revan.
Well, I envisioned that so much that I had Ren do some art for me with that and have it in the basement. Remember?
Yeah.
It's Darth Bane holding the holocron, and Revan's up there with his 2 lightsabers.
Bitch, these
Yeah.
are the lightsabers.
You need 2 of them.
You
It's
need
good
2 of
Sith have 2.
Yeah.
One's
That's how you
good,
take
2
over
is
the
double.
galaxy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sucks. I'm sorry that comic was a letdown.
The Kylo Ren comic was great
Yeah. So how was the Kylo Ren one?
for how trivial it was, because it doesn't really. So it starts off with the destruction of the Jedi Temple.
Mm-hmm. I think I read the first 2.
It's very. It doesn't answer any questions, just classic Star Wars, but it gives you a little more insight on who Snoke is, why he's Snoke, their relationship between Kylo, Snoke, and the Knights of Ren.
Mm-hmm.
Luke is pretty badass in this. He hands the Knights of Ren their own ass. All of them. He gets confronted by the Knights. So, Luke, young Ben, and Lor Santeca are after ancient Sith and Jedi holocrons and relics.
Yep.
And they go to this place, and the Knights of Ren are already there.
Yep.
And
Remember that.
Luke just hands him. They're all like, "What are you doing here, old man?" Blah blah blah, and he fucking whoops them all. But they like walking out with their tails between their legs. The leader Ren says something to Ben, like I sense something, and I forget what they call. Oh, maybe it's the shadow. They refer to the dark side as the shadow, and he says, "You have the shadow," and then walks out.
Yep.
And that's kind of like the thing that the seeds that are planted.
Mm-hmm.
So once Ben actually breaks away from the light side, he seeks Snoke, and then he seeks the Knights of Ren to prove himself. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Does it talk about how he claims his name?
Yes,
Oh God.
In
Is
a very-
it worse than Solo or better?
it's a very like they make a strong suggestion, and then they don't officially answer it. So Kylo is 2 things that he's trying to kill. So, like we said, Ben has this name that he can never live up to.
Mm-hmm.
Ben being Obi-Wan, who he's never met,
Mm-hmm.
and Solo, the dad he hates.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the KY from Skywalker and the LO from Solo.
Solo, and it's basically he combines the 2 because
Wow,
he
that's
wants to be named.
convoluted.
He wants to be named after something he hates. He hates those 2 names. They come with so much baggage that he can't handle, so he condenses them and he becomes Kylo Ren.
Wow.
It's unofficial, but they strongly suggest that throughout that comic. Yeah, it's pretty douchebaggy, to be honest, but
That's weird. That's
Yeah.
really weird.
so yeah, like Commander said, Skywalker Kai and Solo Kylo. That's because how you just combine them.
That's still, it's like just a part of the word though. I feel like you don't even like really catch it.
Well, if you want to get theoretical, it's he basically doesn't completely kill off the name. He combines the 2 and shortens it because it's what pisses him off right now.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he keeps the name. From a certain point of view, he keeps both of them
True.
in it. So like at heart, he knows where it comes from. So like when during Bendemption, it's like he kept that seed. And he hated it all along, but then he became Ben again. So, Ben again. That's what happens.
And then Ren obviously just comes from
Knights
Knights of Ren. So I assume all of the guys in the Knights of Ren have a something Ren as their name.
They don't
talk about it.
It's all the Knights. The leader at the time was Ren.
Just Ren?
Yeah, they called him Ren, I think.
So Ben just making him his own. He should have just went by Ben Ren. That's so much better.
Knights of Kylo.
Knights of
They
Kylo.
should have just renamed Knights of Ren. Ren died, unless Ren was a title and they were calling the guy Ren because that was a title.
That's what I figure, and that's why Kylo took that as like a last name. He's like, I'm better than all of you. I'm gonna have 2 names, okay?
Yeah. Kylo also confronts. So the comic that you read, at least in the first 2, and it's so wishy-washy. There's no official thing that says Kylo burned down the temple.
Right. It's implied that like Snoke did it, because you see it happen, and then Kylo like runs up and he's like, no.
And then other Jedi land and say, Kylo, what'd you do?
Right.
And where's Master Skywalker? And he takes the credit for killing Luke, and then goes and whines to Snoke on that weird mechanical planet. I don't even know
Biodome.
the biodome.
Right.
Welcome to it.
But like, yeah. So Kylo doesn't say, guys, wait, misunderstanding. I didn't do this. He doesn't say that. So like, was he planning on doing it? And like, he set a bomb, and then he changed his mind, and he was gonna try to, fix it.
Yeah.
But
Let's walk down this though. I think it makes sense from a kid's point of view that's frustrated with his current thing. I think it happened in front of him. Other people were already blaming him, and this was his way out.
right.
He was done with Master Skywalker. He was done with the fucking 3 Jedi that just showed up, who were jealous of him because of his name and because of his abilities. This was his out. Yeah, you're right. I killed Luke. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Screw you guys.
And then he regrets it, and he tries to go back and undo it. And then he's like, wait, too long, too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes there doesn't need to be a mystery. Like, mystery's cool every once in a while, but like sometimes you can just be like, yes, Ben did this.
Yeah.
Or no, Ben didn't. And then he was pissed anyway, so he took credit for it or whatever.
I completely agree. I think, and I'm gonna lump a lot of stuff in here. I think Disney era Star Wars, outside of the Solo and Rogue One, I think they throw stuff on screen, but nothing's ever answered. So it's so abstract, at least story-wise, that you can kind of put in whatever you want. But it's so much so that the story gets lost or bogged down in all these questions. Whereas, like we were talking about on one of the last episodes, the twist aspect of a movie, it no longer hinges on a twist of a movie because nothing's answered along the way. They just keep asking questions, and you're like,
Right.
does this twist even matter, or how does it affect everything? I have no idea.
Yeah, like they're throwing stuff in there to see what plays, and then they're going to answer it later based on, like, did it work or did it not? Like, we're going to throw in Kylo Ren. Does everyone like Kylo? Okay, cool. Let's double down on that, and let's answer these questions. I don't know if that's happening. I'm just kind of, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you think, so usually what I expect is for them to say, here's this more abstract thing in the movie, we're going to answer the questions in the comic. So I somewhat expect them for the comic to, like, literally answer the question.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes they just make it even more vague.
Well, yeah, well, it's one of those things. We want to answer this question, but we also want to have more than just one issue of a comic, so we've got to create our own questions. So
True.
in answering this, we've got to bring up more. It's an issue, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. But so I do have some quotes I pulled from it. So it was, like I said, it was a 4-book or 4-issue comic series. But Ren from the Knights threw a quote at Kylo and said the Jedi became too rigid in the rules and code, which made them easier to break. And I was like, ooh, I like that. They became too rigid in their rules and codes that they weren't able to flex with what was happening.
Right. Got to
in
be
front of them.
flexible.
You got to be flexible.
Damn. That's cool. How much, see, how far back does it go with the Knights of Ren? Because how much did he know about the Jedi? You know, where did he, like the Ren guy, where did he learn all that stuff?
I think they had a somewhat working relationship with Snoke. So I think they gathered a lot of that stuff, and I think they were doing missions for Snoke. Like pick up random artifacts and stuff.
Okay.
Loosely. They weren't like.
But now that we
Sith.
know who Snoke is,
Yeah, so we can talk about that too.
I wonder if how long did the Knights of Ren actually exist? Like maybe it's this thing that this fringe group that like Palpatine put together.
Well,
You know, remember he used to have all those assassins like Mara Jade? Could be some new version of that. Who knows?
let me bitch about something else. This is Mopar bitch hour here.
Let's do it. Are we going to talk about Snoke being an actual failed clone of Palpatine?
So there's many aspects that I don't like this. So and it all hinges on Palpy. For how much we all love Palpy. The fact it's almost for 6 movies. We could throw the stories in there too. Everything evil is from Palpatine. Everything evil in 9 movies is because of Palpatine. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, come on. There's more than just one evil guy.
Yeah.
It's like the entire Sith, if you have an angry thought, it's all because of Palpatine, and it's like, I just wanted Snoke to be genuine, like a fallen Jedi. Maybe him and Luke had a falling out, and he's like, you know what, I'm out of here, had a prior relationship with Kylo, and brought him along, strung him along.
Right.
Perfect. Now that he's a failed Palpy clone, now it takes character development out of it. He matters so much less. It's all hinged on Palpatine living again. And I'm just like, God, you were almost there in creating a cool... Like, we have Palpy. We have Vader. We have Kylo. Like, those are solid bad guys. But Kylo's because of Palpy. Vader's because of Palpy. Now Snoke's because of Palpy. And you're like, dude...
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm almost gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm looking at the High Republic. Like, you got to have something better than this now.
No, it's Palpatine.
It's been Palpatine.
He's actually like 600 years old. You didn't know
Yeah.
that? Yeah, I have such a love-hate relationship with this because you remember, and I've said it on the show, going into Last Jedi, I was so interested in Snoke. And even after he gets cut in half, I'm like, he's dead, but there's still so much we don't know about him and how he's training Kylo and why he's so strong. So I had a lot of interest in who he was going to become. So yeah, I'm annoyed that he's just a clone. On the flip side of that, the fact that Palpatine's cloning things and trying to get his spirit into something and it fails sometimes and it looks like a deformed monster, that's fucking awesome. So I'm 50-50 on it, man. I really
You
am.
know, I the issue is, does it make sense? Absolutely. But does it take away from, like, my Star Wars experience? I think so. You just basically took a character out. You took an entire character out of that realm, and everything was based off Kylo proving himself. Now he's proving himself to a failed clone? That's where we're at?
What's the
pissed.
language? This was on a Star Wars blog post. Is that correct? Where this popped
It was
up?
on StarWars.com, and there was some type of interview that went on, and they asked, like, a creator, like, what's the deal with Snoke? And it was almost a throwaway line, like, well, because Snoke is a failed Palpy clone, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck did you just say here?
Interesting. I mean, I'm curious what they actually say.
Yeah.
This led to Palpatine creating more clones and strand casts of himself in the hopes that one would offer a more suitable vessel for him to inhabit. All this effort ultimately culminated in Rey, the daughter of one of Palpatine's strand casts. That's a weird name. So Palpatine created the clone.
Dude.
What?
Palpatine.
Palpatine's everything, by the way.
Dude.
Palpatine is George Lucas. George Lucas is Palpatine.
Rey is Palpatine. Snoke is Palpatine.
Yeah.
Dude, it's all Palpatine. And we
Yeah.
skipped a generation of Rey's parents who are Palpatines.
Well, just one of them. That's the weirdest one. That's the one that's not a clone, really, isn't it?
Well, her mother. maybe. Who's obviously an Obi-Wan, because they all have to be. He's an Obi-Wan. Kenobi.
And Obi-Wan and his Sheev are banging it out. Man. Well, what I was going to ask is, like, Snoke is... Palpatine's testing things. He wants to see if this is going to work, if the body's going to be able to survive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But he hasn't put his spirit into the Snoke, right? He's just testing the physical form. So how is it force sensitive?
I think it's a clone. He's a clone. He's a
So
failed clone.
it includes the midichlorians and everything?
Yeah.
Wasn't that our whole, not a theory. Yeah, our theory about the reason the cloning process has been so shitty is because when it comes to force sensitives, it's more complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, he was probably the most successful force sensitive clone.
And he still looks like a meatbag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's weird.
It really does. It takes a lot out of it for me. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. So my other thing that I realized after reading through the Kylo comics, Kylo and Rey are such equal opposites. Kylo has the name, but he doesn't want it. Rey has no name, but wants a name.
Right.
So they kind of cross paths in Rey wanting to be somebody and Kylo wanting to be a nobody, which was kind of a cool setup.
But Kylo's not a clone. Maybe he is.
It's all because of
we
Palpatine.
were talking about that last episode. If you really go back, Palpatine kind of created Anakin.
I know.
So everyone in Anakin's bloodline is like by association has some Palpatine in them.
Yep.
So there's some inbreeding going on there.
That's no wonder they're kissing each other. No wonder Luke and Leia are all over each other. And Han.
Man. That dark side taints the blood.
Tainted something.
God. Yeah, man. I'm split on the Snoke part, but I definitely agree with you on the Palpatine thing. The fact that he just has his claws and everything takes away some of the magic out of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It makes it a little too predictable.
You know, something that was kind of a toss-away thing at the very beginning of the Kylo Ren thing was Ben asks Snoke, "What happened to your face? What did Luke do to it?"
What's wrong with your face?
Which is a weird. So they're suggesting that Ben knew Snoke prior to his face being fucked up.
Well, he probably, because Snoke knows so much about Luke and the Jedi, he probably just assumes that like they got into a fight and parted ways.
So maybe Snoke and Kylo have never truly met. Like he was talking to him because it's been Palpy the whole time.
Yes, I think Kylo probably doesn't know if Snoke and Luke have actually met. It has not seen them in the same room at the same time. You know?
Yeah.
But Snoke knows so much about the Jedi, he probably just assumes that like they got into a fight and then he left. That would be my guess. My guess about Kylo's guess.
You know what? The other thing to throw out there, because they're planting the seeds of Ben becoming Kylo and finding his name. Mm-hmm. Snoke has a quote here: "I was not born Snoke. I became Snoke. Who will you become?"
You weren't born at all, you fuck.
That's what I was like. Test tube over here.
Yeah, you were. What's the term when someone's cloned? They're not born. They're
seminated.
They are procured.
They are, uploaded.
Snoke has been procured.
He's downloaded, yeah.
Downloaded, uploaded, exported. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys in the chat? We got Witch Hunter, we got Turkey Sandwich, Biff Sticks. What do you think about this whole Snoke business? And obviously, if you're listening to this after the fact, you can mail us a Cheez-It and tell us with your thoughts.
Let us know.
Fountain pen writing only, ink and quill.
So in the second issue of that Kylo Ren, they're going after those Jedi artifacts.
Yeah.
And they pull up on this old Jedi temple, and it looks exactly like Jeddah. Like
Really?
the fallen statues, the Jedi statues.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like those, but it's just still
and
intact.
what planet is it on?
I don't remember. Oh, Elfrona. Elphrona. Elfrona.
They're really phoning it in on the names too. Huh?
But yeah, I looked at the temple. I was like, ooh, you're adding some Jeddah City background here.
Ooh.
Yeah, Elfrona.
I'll have to get the last two. Did you get them physical or you got them?
No,
on
I
that
do them
app?
digitally. Yeah.
I'll have to get the third and the fourth one and just finish that up so I can see for myself.
We'll get to the Bad Batch, guys. Sorry. I did have a random episode 6 theory, and it's kind of building upon a theory we already said.
Okay.
So it's that when Luke tries to kill Palpy, Vader blocks it because he didn't want the essence transfer to happen. So from a certain point of view, Vader was saving Luke by blocking. You know what I'm talking about? Episode 6?
Yes. Yes.
And then Vader was the only one that actually could kill Palpy, from a certain point of view, because Vader's body was so fucked that
Yes.
the essence transfer couldn't happen,
Even if you wanted it to, yeah.
even if he wanted it to. That was just a little added. I don't know if we had discussed that, but I thought it a little deeper into the next step that Vader was
Yeah.
the only one that could do it because his body was so fucked.
But I would bet you that Vader didn't even know that was a possibility. It just so happened that, like if Vader wasn't thinking like, oh no, he's gonna take over your body, let me block this thing. I think he was just saving his master. But the side effect is like, yes, it does block the essence transfer.
Yeah.
Did they ever come out and say essence transfer?
No.
Did
No,
he say
and
my,
that's
my essence transfers into you, or he says my spirit transfers into you.
something's transferring.
It's
and
so close to being exactly Darth Bane.
It's dirty. let me transfer some of this Palpy into you. Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't want it.
You don't want it. Yeah. All right. I guess we
Basically
can.
Darth Bane.
I guess we can talk about. Yeah. What happened to like Darth Bane, man? Is that a weird thing to say? Like, we have KOTOR. Then the Bane series comes out. We have like those clone commando books, and then shit just kind of dried up. First of all, we got pretty much nothing until Disney. And then Disney's been like riding the clone ass. Like
yeah, they've really been going hard on the clones.
It's been all clones. Well, not even
we
just
asked
clones.
for that for a long time, so
but
we
it's
can't
clone
complain.
tech. It's not only just clones. It's clone technology. It's Mando. They throw it in with Grogu, cloning him. Now it's Snoke's a clone. Oh, Rey's a clone as well. What? Where the fuck does this end? Is this
Wait,
the only?
When is Rey a clone? What do you mean?
I mean, she's the daughter of a clone.
Daughter of a clone. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is what we kind of want them to do, though, right? We just hate that it's Palpatine being everything. But 9 rolls around, Palpatine's back. He's a clone. That's weird. And then they answer it through little cameos and all of these other pieces of material. That's kind of what we want, right?
Look-
We're just annoyed that it's 14,000 different things are all clones.
It's the issue is I feel like it's lazy writing. Now the way they play it out and the storylines behind it all and the importance of the cloning technology and spoiler the destruction of Kamino and the importance of Grogu's blood. I mean, they draw it out and they play the game really well. But
Yeah.
it feels to me that it's lazy writing. Everything that Disney has done outside of the two standalones is based off cloning technology, which they didn't even come up with.
Well, I don't know if I would say that.
Yeah, I'm just being an idiot today, but
If you get through 7 and 8, it's possible they didn't even anticipate that.
well,
You know,
Mando
they're
was already out.
retconning.
Mando
they're
was out.
Yeah, but the scene with that part in the Imperial lab and seeing like the clone bodies and stuff, that wasn't in season 1 at all. Because they did the vague thing again. You're like Moff Gideon wants Grogu, It's more precious than me than you could ever know. Why does he want it? We don't know. 9 comes out. Palpatine's a clone. Oh, he wants the Force-sensitive blood. You know what I mean?
But
they
you know who
they can
wants
retcon stuff like every year.
But you know who wants the Force-sensitive blood and who Moff Gideon's working for?
Palpatine.
No! A clone! A clone of Palpatine.
What do you mean?
That's what they're working for from a certain point of view.
Oh, well, they're probably just...
In hopes of bringing Palpatine back.
It's probably some Grand Admiral with contingency plans. He's just following that checklist. Empire falls, check. Clone Palpatine, check. Steal
Clone
Baby Yoda,
Palpatine.
check.
Feed fish. Check.
Yes, check.
Feed the bigger fish.
Change laundry, check. Overthrow the galaxy, check.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, and as you talk about everything being Palpatine, you go all the way back to episode 1 and 2. It was Palpatine's plan for the clone army in the first place.
It's all Palpy, man.
He had Dooku convert Sifo Dyas and have him order the thing and build the army for the Republic, even though it was actually him behind the scenes. It goes all the way back.
And I don't know if this was intentional, but what they did was took the trilogies, and instead of it being about the Skywalkers, now from a certain point of view, it's about Palpatine and the Palpatines.
Oh, yeah. Here's the prequels, it's his rise to power. Here's the original trilogy, he's in power. And here's the sequels, he's trying to come back.
Yeah. The regain of power.
Yes.
Which is weird because you watch just the original trilogy, and even though Palpy plays a great role in that, it's about Vader and his son. Yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. I understand why people, how fans were turned off by a lot of this stuff. I get it. I'm not gonna sit here and like not watch Star Wars and hate it.
Yeah.
But I get it, I guess. Especially with my recent viewing of 8, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I get
Yeah, I guess I haven't done a watch through of like 7, 8, 9 in order, in over a year at least. So it'll probably give me a different perspective on it. It also goes back to our complaint about them not planning the whole thing out.
I think that's the biggest issue. Yep.
Because if JJ was to go to Lucasfilm at the beginning, planning 7, and say, all right, here's all these new characters, but really, Palpatine's trying to clone himself, and he's going to come back by the end of the trilogy. I feel like that would not have flown. The only way Palpatine as a clone, the only way they approve that at Lucasfilm is like, well, 7 and 8 were kind of wonky, the fans are annoyed, and
we have to go out with a
fire our director. We need to bring JJ back at the 11th hour to save everything, and we need to go out with a bang. What are we going to do? Everyone likes Palpatine, bring him back.
Yeah.
That's the only way that storyline gets in place.
And to
now
solidify all that, that's what they're doing all this background cloning stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Batch is all about cloning technology.
Yeah.
Endgame being Palpy.
And I think I think the team over the course of time will come up with some really creative ways to make it work.
Sure, I agree.
But you can't, in the moment, you can't get away from the fact that like this is a big retcon movie. So it it gives you a sour taste, and then it gradually goes away, and then 4 years from now, we'll watch the sequel trilogy with our kids, and we'll be like, yes, it's all great, whatever.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. There's ups and downs. Sequel trilogy is my least favorite, and it's not close. I've never considered sequel trilogy better than either of the other two.
I was
now the
loving
standalones,
it for a minute.
of course. The standalones, of course. See, 9 never hit me well.
It
7's
did.
great. I've always liked 7.
9 really hit us at the beginning.
Yeah.
The first few viewings were like, oh my god, Force lightning and shit.
Oh my God, Palpy's back. Wait a second, Palpy's back.
And then again, you have to let it sit in. And remember, Last Jedi had the opposite effect.
Yeah. No, I get it. Let's jump into Clone Wars or Bad Batch here.
Whoops.
It's all Palpatine, so it doesn't fucking
Freudian
matter.
slip. Let's go talk about the Palpatine batch.
Yeah.
And Palpatine Wars, season 7 of Palpatine Wars.
Palpatine Wars.
So yeah, clone stuff is obviously going to make its way in and out of a show that's about clones.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So that's to be expected. We actually now know that they are being renewed for season 2.
Awkward. Okay, but yes,
So
cool.
going in, I kind of thought this was going to be a one-off thing.
I was kind of hoping that. Again, I'm not mad that this came out. It's cool. I think it did a great job. I thought they ended it well.
Turned out better than I expected.
The second to last episode, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
And then it ended on a weird note. And I was like, did they seriously just add a 20-second scene just to be like, season 2? I felt like it was a nice closure where Crosshair and the other Bad Batchers split ways officially, they said their piece and split ways.
Yep.
And then they just kind of threw that extra scene with the Camino in.
Yeah, and that.
And I was like,
one of those Imperial scientists. Again, if we're going back to our Palpatine complaints, that could be in there literally just to say, don't forget, the Empire's working on cloning.
That's exactly it. I thought it felt like a lead-in to, we need to find Jedi blood, and Grogu exists still. Someone's gonna find out Grogu exists, and they're gonna use this Kaminoan. I forget her name. I don't even know the Kaminoan.
I can't remember. Sorry, it's not Lama Su or Tonway.
They're gonna use the knowledge to eventually,
Knowledge.
Well, the other thing.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that it does feel like they're doing this as a retcon. Now they're doing it well. I love Mando. I love it all, but they're doing this in support of making Episode 9, the storyline, make sense.
Oh, well, only in part. I mean, the entire show doesn't serve that purpose, but they are making sure that it ties up in a bow by adding in that cloning technology stuff. So I get it. It's not like the whole show is just for the sake of making Episode 9 less awkward.
Season 2 will be. I guarantee you that.
So I'm glad that it's getting renewed, because to me the Bad Batch, obviously it stars the members of the Bad Batch, but to me it's more a show about the transition from clone troopers to stormtroopers and from Republic to Empire. And I'm here for that. I like it.
I agree.
And they didn't go full stormtrooper by the end of the season, which is cool. They're in this weird middle ground, like the helmets, and they're like halfway stormtrooper, halfway clone. They're still in transition. Obviously, it's only been a couple months. I don't know how long this show takes place over. A year max. But yeah, probably just a couple months. So, 2 seasons. Anything past 2 might be stretching it. Maybe they'll do 4 like Rebels. There's 19 years there. You don't know what can happen in between 3 and 4.
It's done its job.
Saw Gerrera, Mon Mothma, early rebellion stuff.
But for the Bad Batch, they've done their job. And exactly what you said. It's the transition and the people involved realizing, hey, we're being replaced. Clones are, whether they have the inhibitor chip or not, they're making their own decisions now, and they're incorporating themselves into the current affairs. Some of them are going into the Empire, Crosshair. Some of them are going into the, and they're.
I want to see more of them integrating. More.
What else do you need to see?
More. Well, where's Commander Cody? He wasn't even in this season.
He's been dead for years, man. No one cares.
I was really expecting him to be on Kamino before they, spoiler, blew it the fuck up.
Yeah, let's just jump there, because that was really the highlight, I think, of the entire thing for me. Like, the last episode was fine. I knew they had to button up the relationships. I know that Crosshair was still there. Mm-hmm. Also, the last episode was basically Titanic in Star Wars.
I thought the same thing!
Which was fine with me, because I actually like the drama and the intensity of Titanic.
Yeah.
A burning ship sinking. You're just like, oh, this is a burning building sinking.
Yep.
And it's very, like, claustrophobic, like water rushing in. It really did give me that Titanic feels, which is a good thing. Very good.
Yeah, same. And also a little bit of Manon from KOTOR when you go down to the station at the ocean floor. Yeah, mostly Titanic though. I felt the same thing.
Yeah.
But second to last episode, you're right.
Dude, I don't even remember the second to last episode except for that last like minute. Is that weird?
Rescue mission. They try to come in and save Hunter, and then you find out that Crosshair actually had his inhibitor chip removed, and he's just a
that's
fucking
right.
dick.
Because they have that standoff in that like training area.
Yeah.
And then
he ends up shooting his squad and saving the Bad Batch, and they just kind of. I can't get a read on him because he's like, I'm not going to join you. My inhibitor chip's gone, and I still want to serve the Empire because I believe in what they're doing. But he doesn't kill them, and then
Yeah,
he doesn't leave to be with the Empire. He just kills his own guys, which are Empire, and then they just handshake.
I didn't get it either. I actually was kind of lost. I thought something else was going to happen. I didn't really think that he was going to join them, but I thought maybe he was going to help them escape. Well, which he did. Help them escape, and you guys can go die elsewhere. I'm done with you. Like, I was your brother here. I did what I needed to do, but I'm going this way. I guess that's
kind of what he did.
Yeah. I don't know. But I didn't get the whole. So he doesn't want them dead, but he's gonna join the Empire. That's how it felt.
Right,
Like,
but as soon as he goes back to the Empire, they're gonna be like, "You let these guys escape, we're gonna kill you."
That's what should happen. That should be season 2, the first episode. Crosshair gets crosshaired.
Or we had a few when he had his head wrapped in that bandage. Everyone's like, "Dengar, Dengar." So there's potential that he could, instead of joining the Empire, just become a bounty
burn
hunter.
him. Yeah, they'll just burn him like Aunt Beru.
I actually haven't checked the spoiler chat.
It's
in a while.
poetry. Everyone gets burned.
Oh my god. Oh no, our Bad Batch spoiler chat just turned into a bunch of gaming stuff. I was looking to see if anybody was sharing some more rumors in there.
Yeah.
Rumors and theories.
It was the brutality that they put into that second to last, and last episode from the Empire destroying, because it was from a certain point of view. They're like erasing history. This shit never happened. We're getting rid of the technologies. We're getting rid of if people try to go looking for this shit, it doesn't exist anymore. Camino doesn't even exist on certain maps.
Oh yeah, it already was a mystery. Yeah.
So even if you knew that it existed, you get there ain't shit there.
Right.
So there's some like, whoa, like when it's happening, and then of course you and I get that terrace feel from KOTOR,
Right.
where the ships come in, and oh my god, when they started firing, first of all, it doesn't even need to be Camino. The fact that they put Star Destroyers firing on a city, I was like, oh my god, that's fucking epic. It just added so much to it that it was the Empire wiping Camino off the map from a certain point of view.
Yep, it definitely did. Yeah, and then I've always kind of said I can't picture how the Republic goes from Republic to Empire, and in 19 years, no one remembers clones, no one remembers the Clone Wars, no one remembers Jedi. Like, that's too quick. But I think we're seeing, like, the Empire is going to start going around and, like, scrubbing away parts of the Republic that they don't want people to know about.
Wipe them out.
Yes, and the clone facility and Camino and how all this got started is a part of that. And once all the troopers are under a helmet, do you really know who's a clone and who's not?
That's a good point.
You
And
need to
maybe
learn
that's
those
why Finn taking his helmet off was a big deal.
Oh, listen up, big deal.
Wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the ones that actually hit their targets, those ones are the clones. Those fucking stormtroopers lit up what Commando by accident in the previous episode. They just like kept firing, and one of their own guys walked in the hallway, and they just kept firing, and they took him out. They don't know what the hell they're doing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, Bad Batch was fine. It was good. It ended well. It ended very well. And overall,
Yes.
I'll give it a strong B.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. It's like
Our
a B
rating system that we
minus.
do not ever use anymore. Yeah, 2 out of 3. Definitely worthwhile. I hate to say it, it's probably only because of the prequels and Revenge of the Sith, but I still think the opening episode is the best. Now, it'd be interesting to go back and watch the whole series like in one go, because maybe I'm remembering things wrong. I'm sure there's stuff in episodes like 3, 4, 5, 6 that I forgot when I was trying to, push through the filler material. But I just think the opening in Order 66 and everything is just the strongest.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's the longest episode by far, so yeah. And of course, anytime we can see Order 66 happen from different points of view, that's what we need.
Yeah, but the Camino music gave me chills when they landed, straight from episode 2. That's one of my favorite themes in all Star Wars soundtracks. And then obviously by the end of the episode, it gets obliterated. I have a suspicion and a theory. You can mark this down as a Rogue Squadron future prediction that Omega is going to make an appearance as an adult in in Book of Boba Fett or The Mandalorian or both.
I think it makes sense.
I think it just makes too much sense in Boba Fett. That could be a main thing that happens in that plot line is him coming to terms with he has a sibling.
I thought it was pretty cool that Crosshair was pushing back, saying we're taking orders from this kid, and then Tech was just like, technically, she's older than us. She was...
Yeah. She was there when we were being created.
Yeah.
How old is she, like 10?
I mean, when he said
13?
that's where I was like, she must be a little older than I thought. So I put her at like maybe 12.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always... Sometimes kids in stories are way younger and do way more than you really think.
Anakin.
Well, and I was also thinking back to Harry Potter starts when their first years, they're 11 years old. And they get up to some shit in that first storyline that you're like, I couldn't even I just have a different interpretation of what we were like when we were 11 versus
Oh, yeah.
kids fighting trolls and saving the day. I didn't save the day when I was 11. I didn't save the day until I was like 17.
I ruined many days when I was 11.
All days were ruined. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. You know what?
Older than that.
You know what Lando should have done at the end of Episode 9?
What's that?
He should have just cloned himself, and then a million ships show up. It's all Lando's. Lando is a system now.
He can do a million maneuvers at the Battle of Exegol.
A million maneuvers, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how fast the cloning technology works. Can you just pump them out like an assembly line?
Only
like a
half.
factory.
Only half of them are clones. The other ones, Pound Town. He just made them. He made them the good old way.
By banging droids.
Yeah. They're all droids.
They're hybrids. God. I had a moment in that finale that I thought I was gonna cry about a droid sacrificing themselves for a human.
K2SO. Yep.
It didn't happen though.
God, that was that's another one of those like, man, you were right there at like almost epicness. And
They should have done it.
I know.
No one took a hit when they escaped that facility. All of the Tipoca City got blown away, and none of them in that crew died.
I can't.
It obviously
believe-
sucks. I was getting really heartbroken, but like, yes, you should let that droid die as part of the sacrifice for them escaping.
Absolutely.
It was written right. It was right there. Come on.
Or if they let like Echo die because he wasn't originally part of the Bad Batch.
Well, yeah, they didn't bother giving him any storylines.
No, he just shows up, they save him, and then they're like, all right, don't say anything.
Shut your fucking mouth, Echo. He actually is a droid human hybrid.
Yeah. Well, that's why he can't swim. So his thing should have broke, and then he's just twisting the port
Now-
thing. He can't propel himself with that port.
Yeah, his connections aren't waterproof. Yeah, he probably saw some shit and has some serious trauma from being turned into a droid. Why did we not explore any of his storyline? Like, come on. That just seems like too obvious.
Don't worry, there'll be a comic.
That sucks. Yeah. Sometimes things present themselves in the story and like they are obvious and it's okay. Like you should let the droid die. It felt like the natural thing to do. Well, whatever.
You know what? It's that Finn on Crate. You were right there.
Yep.
It made so much sense, but you couldn't fucking do it.
You have to pull the trigger sometimes.
They do. Literally and physically. They need to pull the trigger and kill off some characters to make it worth for the rest of them.
Yes.
Poe and Rey need to know loss like Leia does. Leia knows loss.
Mm-hmm.
Poe's fucking around getting people killed and then laughing about it and like, let's go shoot blasters more. And Leia's like, dude,
Lightspeed skip around.
Jesus. Leia's like, oh my god, what the fuck is this guy? How did he make the last 2 movies? He was supposed to be killed off in the first one.
God, my army's in tatters because of you, Poe.
Dude, there was like a 5-minute sequence.
She should have background checked him.
5-minute sequence on Crate that I actually just despise. First of all, Finn lives. That makes me mad. The way Finn lives, where Cruella de Vil crashes into him, I'm like, oh my god. The fact that they walk all the way from the Death Star gun, he drags
Oh
her
yeah, on like a
all
piece
the
of.
way? Is that what we're supposed to think?
And none of the AT-ATs are shooting them.
Is that? I mean, it's a small plot hole, but I watched that today. I was like, did he seriously just drag her body a mile across this sand?
Maybe he jumped down into one of the trenches and took the tunnels back or whatever.
You can just see the snail mark because the sand is being moved. You just see his body being moved.
That ain't blood. That's sand.
That's sand, baby. And then the
Salt.
other thing that within that 5-minute sequence is when Poe is standing there again explaining the plot. No, Luke's here for a reason. He's doing this to save us because I have to have some character development and you guys aren't smart enough to just realize it. So I have to say it. Luke's doing this as a distraction.
He doesn't even know who Luke is.
I know! That's the biggest issue. He's watching Luke like fight Kylo and he's like,
Is that the famous Jedi Master Luke Skywalker?
he's doing this for a reason. I'm like, why are you even saying this? Why are you realizing this? You don't even know who that dude is. I'm telling you, the 5 minutes there, I was like, oh, God! More! I'm like, okay, less, please.
Yeah,
You should be yelling less.
It's him trying to talk to himself, but yes, it's horrible. He's
There's
like
some-
having a self-realization, like, oh wait, we shouldn't fight, we should escape. All right, I got it. But he's saying it out loud for the audience.
Well, first of all, he's saying it out loud for the audience, but they didn't string it along. It was like he needed character development, so he gets it, but he never earned it.
He didn't experience the character development. He
didn't
just said the character development.
He said the character development. That really does. It's a good way to put it because it irks me. There's never a realization. He just stands there and all of a sudden his eyebrows go up. He's doing this for a reason. You're like, dude, where did that come from?
Especially in a movie where Kylo and Rey have so many emotional moments, and you literally experience their character development over the course of the 2 hours. Theirs is so deep in that movie. But yeah, for Finn's is like halfway.
Yeah,
But then it's ruined because his finale gets squashed.
Yep.
And then Poe's is just like, well, everyone died in the X-Wings, and now we're going to go here, and everyone's dying again. And then he just says it. Yeah.
It's a very weird, plot device because they need to escape. And the way to escape, which it pivots on Luke being a fucking savage and force projection, which is awesome.
Yep.
But for everybody else to get away, someone has to have that realization. And I feel like what they tried to do is pass the torch that Leia was supposed to have that realization.
But she was, not paying attention because, her brother.
Not paying attention.
She was distracted.
I mean, she was halfway blown up. She was killed a couple times in a fucking movie, and Mary Poppins back into it. And then...
I totally forgot about that scene.
See, there's a lot of stuff, and it did get worse for me. I hated it up front, just like the movie. I hated the Mary Poppins thing up front, and then I was okay with it. I had come to terms, and then I saw it again recently, and I was like, Ah, man, you missed me again.
I still stand by. It's just the way that she's positioned, because it looks like she's doing like a Superman Mary Poppins thing. If it wasn't for that, if she was floating in a different position, I feel like I wouldn't hate it.
She also is floating way out there. And I thought for a second when Kylo turns around to come back to Snoke's ship, he was just going to dink and then hit her.
That he's truly lost.
He's truly lost. Yeah.
That would be savage.
I think as a character, I think it makes sense. I agree with you. I think it's the way the scene looks.
Yeah.
Because if Leia is gonna have powers, it's gonna save people, and to save people, you have to be alive yourself. And
Right.
And first of all, Poe needs to learn a couple more lessons, so you need to live. So
He did not pass his exam.
He
Put
did.
his answers through the Scantron again, please.
Yeah. Man, we shit on a lot of stuff today, but
It's okay. That's someone's got to do it.
someone's got to do it.
Put those gloves on, and roll up our sleeves, and
Random thought.
do the dirty work.
That Bad Batch fighter that they're floating in,
Yeah.
that thing's badass.
I think it's an early version of the shuttle.
Yep.
Is that not the same one that Palpatine lands on Mustafar with when he grabs Vader out of the ashes?
Oh, is it the same style?
I want to say it is. Mustafar Palpatine shuttle. Let's see. Theta class shuttle? Is that
Theta
right?
Lambda? Oh, it's not a Lambda class. It's a Theta class, I see.
Correct, yeah. Whatever the Greek alphabet is. Not that they had Greece or alphabets in Star Wars. But
oh, yeah, those are badass.
yeah.
I think
Theta
it must be
class,
the
I
next
think.
the next version of that. Because
Yeah,
I
what
think
co-
it does have the top, right?
What comes after? What's after Theta?
Gamma.
Greek alphabet? Is it? You don't know that. You're making stuff up. Greek alphabet in order.
Oh, Gamma class looks fucking crazy.
Greek alphabet. Wikipedia. Well, I don't know what the symbols are. Tell me them. There we go. Iota. Is that it? Iota class shuttle? That can't be real.
Lambda, Omicron, Zeta class.
I don't know.
Oh,
What those are.
Zeta is badass. It's those Scarif landers with the 4.
Oh, nice.
Cargo
And then, of
ship.
course, you keep going and you get all the way to the Upsilon class, and that's Kylo Ren's.
Omega class.
Yeah, Upsilon's the best. It's Kylo's shuttle, still one of the coolest things in Star Wars. Hands down. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's sexy. But yes, the Bad Batch
Oh.
shuttle is cool, and it's one of those.
The Omicron. Is that what you said?
I said Upsilon.
Omicron. Omicron class. I think that's the Bad Batch one.
Nice. Yep, they just keep going. Tweak a little thing here, little thing there.
The Marauder. I couldn't think of the goddamn ship. Yeah, it's the Marauder.
It's probably a ship in the X-Wing Miniatures game now that I haven't played in 2 years. It's probably all Bad Batch and Mando stuff now.
I tell you what, for us shitting on everything, the Star Wars has always done their ships right.
Yes.
They've always done them. It's so cool.
Yeah, the whole scene when they get to Kamino, fly past those Star Destroyers, get to the surface and land, and that music's playing from Episode 2, that was iconic. And they had a few shots there as Kamino's getting destroyed and they're running out. A few shots of like all the cloning facilities, like one last look, one nostalgic look before everything gets blown to smithereens.
Yeah.
Seeing it all empty, so weird.
Yeah.
An iconic Star Wars planet is now destroyed.
You know, to build upon my hate, I felt more for Omega watching Kamino at the end than Leia watching Alderaan blow up. Isn't that crazy, though?
Well, they've realized their mistake. They won't do that again.
I
Give him a free
felt
pass.
more-
It was
more-
the first one.
I felt much more emotion. I felt much more invested.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it's a facility.
And it's complicated, too, because, like, that's where she grew up, so it's kind of her home, but she also is a test tube, and she hates it there.
Yeah.
So you have both going on at the same time. She didn't want to go back.
But, like, no one actually died. They just blew up the facility. They had just ended up being in it, so they had to escape.
Right.
Alderaan
Everyone
blew
else
the
is
fuck up.
billions and billions, yeah.
And, yeah. All you heard was a faint gasp.
No.
Oh, man. Poor Leia.
Yeah, I feel bad shitting on Leia.
I do too, but it's not Leia's fault. It's like, man, they just
Who's to
skimmed
blame?
over that.
We need a scapegoat here. Who's to blame?
George and his rabbits.
George.
George.
George. All right. Well, yeah. Overall, Bad Batch was it was a fun ride. I'm looking forward to watching it all again in like 6 months or a year from now, like right before the second season comes out. Can I just have it in May? Season 1 came out in May. Season 2 is getting approved and confirmed. Can we just have that come out in May next year? Do we not have to wait a year and a half, 2 years for this shit? I don't want any delays. Let's just get some momentum going here, please, Lucasfilm. And I would like to close this episode out by saying, do we have any idea when Cassian Andor or Kenobi are coming out?
That's what I was just looking up to see what kind of schedule we're looking at. I think unofficially, well, we'll get Book of Boba at the end of this year.
I forgot it was, well, I almost forgot it was August. So that's not too far away.
Yeah, Book of Boba's fairly close. And then I'm sure Mando Season 3's next year.
Yep.
We'll get Bad Batch 2.
Andor says 22 as well.
So we've got at least 3 things. Bad Batch Season 2, Mando Season 3, and Andor in 2022.
And possibly Book of Boba Fett.
Well,
Or sorry, Book of Boba Fett's going to be before that. Possibly Kenobi is what I meant.
Which I thought Kenobi was for 2023. But, yeah, who knows? Oh, the 2023 is Rogue Squadron, the movie.
That's us. It's our first movie, feature film.
Here we go.
You better go
get
see
me
it.
in as a pilot. You better kill me off real quick.
The pilot!
The message. The Mopar! Oh, man.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for listening. This is episode 272. Do you have any closing words? Give them a what's their motivation going into the week? They're probably hearing this on Monday. It's Monday, everyone.
Monday. I got nothing for you. Fuck Monday.
This is gonna be a shitty week. Sorry, guys.
It's all downhill from here. We got no Star Wars to look forward to. Let me confirm Book of Boba before we let you go. Maybe that'll be the upbringing here.
Tamara Morrison's back, and I'm excited for it. December, right?
It says yeah. It's still saying December of this year. So
I hope they stick with that because new Star Wars stuff around Christmas time is one of my favorite things.
Yeah. I am assuming with the focus on Omega that Boba and Omega will be getting together here.
And I'm curious to know
Who's
what
a player.
A female Jango Fett and what an older Omega. I'm curious what that's going to be like.
Let me see.
There's not any rumors popping up on Google's.
Who the fuck is this? I searched Omega age, and it's some like Hispanic hip hop artist showed up. 43 years old. Star Wars.
Yeah, you got to give. She's not like a well-known character like Luke Skywalker. You got to give a little bit more information. Google doesn't know what you're looking for, although they should. They're supposed to be the best.
Human, female, roughly 1.1 meters tall. Okay, yeah, but how old is she?
They don't want to tell you. They haven't figured that out yet, Mopar. They haven't written that part of the story.
Well, let's say she's 12.
They've introduced Omega. They haven't actually retconned how old she is yet.
Let's say she's 12. If we put her at 12 in the Bad Batch, what would she be during the Book of Boba Fett?
So that's an additional like 24, 26 years? No, 20. It's like an additional 30 years. So she'll be like 45. She'll be as old as Boba, obviously.
No, not obviously. I assume she was made at the end. He was the first full. that doesn't mean they're the same age. She could be several generations younger. She's just the other full clone.
Yeah, but at Attack of the Clones, Boba was already like 12 or something. And then it's another 3 years later, and Omega's also 12. So they're not that far off. They're only a couple years off.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't know. So Boba Fett, so Mando season 2 ends, and we get the post-credit scene of Boba Fett clearing out Jabba's palace. So we don't know if the Book of Boba Fett is going to pick up with that, or if it's going to pick up along the same timeline as Mando. You know what I mean? Or if it's going to go back and figure out how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. We could go a couple different ways with it. But I do think Omega is a strong possibility.
What are your hopes? Let's say they do team up. What would they be doing together? Why would they be teaming up? What kind of like character should Omega be by the time she's 45?
Well, I guess off the top of my head, I would say Boba Fett has been a fucking savage, and he's been on the wrong side of the law, and he's been a bounty hunter, and I feel like by the time he survives the Sarlacc pit and meets up with Mando, he's still a badass, but I feel like he's more in the center.
Din Djarin style. Yeah.
And I feel like Omega is going to maybe end up at the same place, but she's going to go the opposite direction. She has a positive influence from the Bad Batch. She's going to try to be a good guy, realize the Empire fucking sucks, the galaxy's not fair, life is horrible, and she's going to find herself aligned right in the center.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. It was almost Ahsoka-esque, where she does everything right and still gets fucked over, so she's going to kind of ride that middle line.
Yep.
And I thought maybe she holds some hatred for not clones themselves, but the people that abuse the cloning power. So, like a Moff Gideon. If once Omega finds out that Moff Gideon's using cloning technology, her baby, from a certain point of view, I mean, she helped the Kaminoans do all that stuff. It was never supposed to be used to bring back a goddamn devil. So she's probably going to have some sense of hatred and or want, like, justice for people that are abusing the cloning technology, like Moff Gideon. So I have a sneaking suspicion they'll be teaming up to try to like hunt down people who are abusing it from the Empire. And she's going to ride that line of, I'm going to murder you. I'm not a good person anymore. You're a bad person, and you need to die.
Yes.
Which is like almost a realization that the rebellion needs, too.
Yes, which I think they get at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's as much as we can hope for. And technically she's a Mandalorian. So
that's what I was thinking, too.
I hope at some point she, whether we see it in Bad Batch or not, she gets some Mandalorian culture education. And if Mandalorian Season 3 is going to push into retaking Mandalore and reestablishing the Mandalorians as a true culture, she obviously has a part to play there.
Do you think they're going to go full Harry Potter and have half-bloods? Ooh, because if you are like a clone, you're a diluted Mando blood from a certain point of view.
Well, we did see tension with Bo-Katan telling Boba Fett he's a fuckface.
Yep, exactly.
But you can't argue with the results. He is the true savage. He's probably better than all you guys. He's a savage, man.
No.
You saw what he did.
You saw what he did.
Back lot in L.A. on those hills, fucking
yeah.
killing those stormtroopers.
Sweating up that hill. Oh yeah.
Do we call her Omega Fett?
Oh.
Or is she
Well,
going to
his
pick
name's
her
not-
own name?
His name's not Alpha Fett.
True. Jango named him. But Jango died before Omega. Or he didn't know about Omega, I should say. They did not give him the chance to name his baby.
She should be the leader of the Knights of Bad Batch.
Kylo Omega.
Kylo, yeah. Who does she want to get rid of? Kaminoans. Kamino and Fett.
She doesn't have... Yeah. Well, I guess
don't
we
know.
should take parts of Lama Su's name and parts of
Llama Fett.
Jango Fett's name and merge them together, and that's her new name? I'll get back to you.
Let me know in the comments what fish she should be named after.
That's what I want everyone to comment, please, on this mail post.
All right, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in.
Thanks for
Everyone.
tuning in. Thanks to Aaron Drews, our newest patron. Thank you for supporting the show, my friend. It's good to have you in the chat. It's good to have you in the Dangus Nation. I'll try not to scare you off.
Maul at the end of Solo lives up so well.
Where'd that come from?
It's in my
We've
notes.
already
I wanted
done the
to-
outro.
we're done. We're done. Outro's gone, but it holds up surprisingly well, even beyond the surprise aspect. I'm
Good.
pissed that they haven't gone forward with a Kira Maul comic series or something, but I'll leave you
Make
guys
Solo
with
2 happen.
that. Yeah.
Make Solo 2
it happen.
happen.
Force me, come back.
I hate that doesn't come through the... I don't think that comes through the recording. Which, I mean, it shouldn't. I obviously don't want that in the recording, but it's so funny. All right, live streamers.